BCR 3.1 is the one of the biggest, if not the biggest objective in the BCR unit. While I know there's only three points right there for the objective, all of those things are pretty massive kind of components. So the first thing is being able to explain what subatomic particle is affected during a chemical reaction. Second is being able to identify reactants and products within a chemical reaction equation. And the third, which is the biggest, understand the law of conservation of matter by writing and balancing chemical reaction equations and using formulas if given description of the reaction. So these big three things you'll see in various activities. So suggested activities, there's again quite a few of them. Counting atoms, how to, and counting atoms practice. This is kind of the base knowledge. Like you have to be able to count the number of atoms in a given compound before we can balance chemical equations where you have multiple compounds. So that's going to be important. The next thing is excuse me, I put myself to sleep. What is a chemical reaction? Part of this will be done in class where you guys are going to see a demo called elephant toothpaste, but most of that can be done by yourself. The law of conservation of mass lab, this is a required lab, so this is something that you have to do. Very basic lab, but just getting those lab skills and just kind of looking at this idea because we'll revisit this again in BCR 3.2. Balancing chemical equations and balancing equations practice. The last two activities are going to take you the most time. It's kind of like a puzzle. Some students love it, some students hate it. You just kind of have to approach it in the fact that it's challenging and you kind of have to get through that challenge. So big idea questions here are explaining what subatomic particle is affected during a chemical reaction, identifying evidence that would prove a chemical reaction has occurred, being able to identify reactants and products within a chemical reaction equation, understand the law of conservation of matter, and be able to balance a chemical reaction equation and providing proof of why it's balanced. So just to recap, the three main points of 3.1 are explaining what subatomic particle is affected during a chemical reaction, being able to identify reactants and products within a given chemical reaction equation, and understanding the law of conservation of matter by writing and balancing chemical reaction equations using formulas, even using formulas if given descriptions of the reactions. Please let me know if you need assistance. Please let me know if you need tips and tricks. I have quite a few of them for this objective. I would love to help. All right, good luck.